today's lesson is on order of operations. And when we are talking about the order of operations, we're talking about 4 different operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Those are our operations and the order in which we do them. So when we read, we just read left to right. But in math, we don't do whatever operation we see first, left to right. We have to do the operations in a specific order. And we've done a lot of this already, practiced some easier, simpler problems in bell work. And in 4th grade and 5th grade, you should have done part of the order of operations. And in 6th grade, we are going to add exponents to our order of operations. So let's open our math spirals to a new blank page and copy this title onto the top of our pages. Pause the video and copy the title into your notes now. So when we are talking about order of operations, the first thing you should always do first is your parentheses or brackets. The only difference between parentheses and brackets is parentheses are curves and brackets are more square like this. So you always do your parentheses and brackets first, then you do your exponents, then you multiply and divide at the same time. Multiplication does not come before division. Division does not come before multiplication. You go left to right. Whatever you see first is what you do first. So if you see multiplication first on the left, that's what you do first. If you see division first on the left, that's what you do first. And then you add and subtract left to right. Whatever you see first, you do first. There's not one that comes before the other. So if you see addition first, you add first. If you see subtraction first, you subtract first. So one of the things that Miss Dunn really doesn't like is a lot of teachers, maybe in elementary school, may have shown you this. And they use the acronym or the phrase, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," to help you remember the order of operations. Has any of you ever heard that before or had your teachers use that to explain the order of operations? If you have, I want you to forget about it because it makes it appear that multiplication comes before division and addition comes before subtraction. I don't like that. Multiplication should not be on top of division. Addition should not be on top of subtraction. It should be right next to it, like in this picture, because you do them at the same time. Whatever you see first, left to right. So let's not use this one anymore. Let's use this picture so that we can get out of our mind that multiplication or division comes one before the other. They don't. They're done right next to each other at the same time, whatever we see first. So let's pause the video and copy this picture and the order of operations on the right into our notes. Pause the video and copy this into your notes now. So let's just go ahead and jump right in and do some problems together. Let's start with some easy examples and we'll kind of build our way up. So the first problem I would like to do with you is 9 plus 12 times 2. So if I were to go left to right, I see addition first and then multiplication. But my order of operations tells me that we multiply and divide before we add and subtract, which means we are going to go here to 12 times 2, and we're going to multiply that first to get 24. And then we are going to add 9 to 24. So my answer is 33. 9 plus 24 is 33. If you were to add 9 to 12 first, you would have gotten 21, and then multiplied by 2, you would have gotten 42. You would have gotten a completely different answer, and that answer would have been wrong. So let's look at another one. This example has two operations, multiplication and addition. Let's look at one that has three. So here we have 7 plus, and then in parentheses, let's do 12 times 3 divided by 6. So we always do our parentheses first. So we're going to do 12 times 3, which is 36. So then I'm going to bring everything else from our problem down, and I'm going to think, what do I do next based off my order of operations? We always multiply and divide before we add and subtract. So we're going to divide 36 by 6, which gives us 6. Then I'm going to bring everything else down, and what I'm left with is 7 plus 6, which is 13. So my answer is 13. So that's two simple, basic problems. Let's pause the video and get those two examples copied into your notes. It does tend to get a little tricky because sometimes you have more than one operation in parentheses. So in the last example that we did, we had multiplication only in parentheses. But what if we had multiplication and addition? When you go inside parentheses, you restart your order of operations and solve everything in parentheses using your order of operations first. And then once everything in parentheses is solved, then you go outside parentheses and continue with your order of operations. So we're going to look at a problem that has more than one operation inside parentheses. Before we do that, let's pause the video and copy this into your notes now. So let's look at a good 6th grade order of operations problem, one that has exponents and more than one operation inside parentheses. So let's do 4 squared plus 48, and then in parentheses 10 minus 4 times 2. So in parentheses, we're going to start always with our parentheses. And inside parentheses, we have two operations. We have multiplication and subtraction. So what operation do we do first according to our order of operations? We always multiply and divide before we add and subtract. So I'm just going to focus on our parentheses. 4 times 2 is 8. And then we have 10 minus 8, which is 2. So that's our parentheses. Now, if you notice, I'm going to bring everything else from outside parentheses down, but I'm going to keep my 2 inside parentheses, and we'll talk about why in a minute. Now, the reason I kept my 2 inside parentheses is because there is no sign between 48 and 2. And so if I were to just put the 2 there without a sign or without the parentheses, it would look like 482. And it's not 482. If you can think about what this means, we've looked at this in bell work. When you have a number outside parentheses and no sign, this means multiply. So if you're going to get rid of the parentheses, you have to put a multiplication sign there instead. And a lot of times my students get rid of the parentheses and forget that multiplication sign. So I really, really, really want to bring that to your attention. So now we've done our parentheses and we've done all of the operations in parentheses. So what comes next? Parentheses and then exponents. So here we see 4 squared, which we know is not 4 times 2, it's 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. We're going to copy everything else, 48 times 2. So now we're left with 2 operations, multiplication and addition. So we have parentheses done, exponents, and then we multiply and divide left to right, whatever we see first. This problem only has multiplication in it, so we're going to multiply 48 times 2 before we add. 48 times 2 is 96. And then we're going to add 16 plus 96. And that's going to give us 112. This is a 6th grade order of operations problem. Beautiful, isn't it? Let's pause the video and copy this example into your notes now. So let's try some order of operation problems on our desk. Let's go ahead and move your notes off to the side of your table. Do not close your notes. Do not put your notes away. You might need to look at your notes. That's why we write our notes. Get your Expo marker out and your sock out so that we can practice some problems together on our desk. So let's start off pretty easy. Let's go ahead and try number 1 on your desk. Pause the video and try the first problem on your desk. So number 1 is pretty easy because there are only 2 operations, and I'm going to rewrite it over here so I can have plenty of space to work it out. We divide before we subtract, so we're going to do 18 divided by 6, which is 3, and then 36 minus 3, which is 33. I hope we all got that one. Let's pause the video and try number 2 on your desk now. So number 2, we have 7 plus 24, and we're dividing by 6, and we're multiplying by 2. So this is our first example where you see multiplication and division in the same problem. Remember, we do whatever we see first, left to right. So if I'm starting on the left, the first thing I see is division. So I have 24 divided by 6, which is 4. I'm going to copy everything else and bring it down. Then I see multiplication. 4 times 2 is 8. And then I'm adding 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. Hopefully we all got 15. Let's pause the video and try number 3 on our desk now. So number 3, we have parentheses in it. So we've got 15 divided by 5, which is 3. And then when I bring this down, if you see there's no sign in between the parentheses and the 4. So if you get rid of your parentheses, you have to put a multiplication sign there. So then you have 4 times 3, which is 12, and 62 minus 12, which is 50. Pause the video and try number 4 on your desk now. Problem number 4 is our first example with exponents in it. So remember, we do exponents first. Well, technically we do parentheses first, but there's no parentheses in this problem. So we're going to do our exponents first. 2 cubed, that's 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So I have 8 times 5 plus 11. After we do exponents, we multiply and divide left to right. So we have 8 times 5, which is 40. And then we're going to add 11, which is 51. Pause the video and try number 5 on your desk now. So number 5 is getting up there with the complication. It's getting a little bit harder. We've got parentheses and we've got exponents. So I'm just going to copy the problem so that we have enough room to work it out. So we're going to start with our parentheses. 28 divided by 7 is 4. And then I'm going to copy everything else. My order of operations tells me after parentheses to do exponents. So 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. Copy everything else. Then I'm going to multiply and divide left to right. This problem has multiplication in it. 5 times 4 is 20. Minus 16 is 4. So hopefully we're doing a great job with this. We've got some more practice problems to try. So let's pause the video and try number 6 on our desks now. So for number 6, we're going to start with parentheses. We're going to do 10 minus 9, which is 1. And we're going to copy everything outside parentheses exactly as we see it. And then we're going to do exponents. 3 squared is 9. And we're going to copy everything else exactly as we see it. So we've done parentheses, we've done exponents. Now we're going to multiply and divide. 9 times 6 is 54, minus 1 plus 5. So now we only have addition and subtraction left, so we're just going to add 5 plus 4 straight across. 59 minus 1. Our answer is 58. Let's pause the video and try number 8 on our desk now. So again, on this problem, we're going to start with our parentheses. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Copy everything else exactly as you see it. So then we do exponents, but this problem doesn't have any exponents. So we're going to multiply and divide. We only have multiplication. 4 times 2 is 8. And then everything else is addition and subtraction. So remember, we just add and subtract left to right. So we can just go straight across. 6 plus 8 is 14. Minus 2 is 12. Plus 13 is 25. So that was a little bit of an easier problem. Hopefully everybody got that one. Let's try another one. Let's pause the video and try number 9 on our desks now. So for number 9, we're going to do parentheses first. 6 plus 2 is 8. Remember, when you get rid of the parentheses, you have to put a multiplication sign between the 3 and the 8. Minus 12 times 2. So now we have 2 sets of multiplication. You do all of the multiplication before you do any subtraction. So 3 times 8 is 24. Minus 12 times 2 is 24. So you have 24 minus 24, so our answer to number 9 is 0. That was a fun problem. Hopefully everybody got number 9 right. We've got a couple more for you to try. So let's pause the video and try number 10 on your desks now. So on number 10, we're going to solve parentheses first. 4 times 2 is 8. Copy everything else exactly like you see it. Then we're going to multiply and divide left to right. Whatever you see first, you're going to do first. So 3 times 2 is 6. 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then we're going to add. 6 plus 4 is 10. So hopefully we are really starting to get the hang of this. We got one more problem for you to try on your desk. So obviously these problems got out of order because we skipped number 7 earlier, but that's okay. Let's pause the video and try number 7 on your desk now. So on number 7, we're going to do parentheses first. 7 minus 2 is 5. Copy everything else exactly as you see it above. So we're going to multiply and divide left to right. So we see division first. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And 5 times 5 is 25. And then we're going to add. 4 plus 25 is 29. So hopefully you guys all think this is really easy and a lot of fun. And hopefully a little bit of a break from all of the difficult math we've been doing. Because order of operations is something you guys have been practicing since elementary, and we're just adding another element to it by adding exponents to it in middle school. I will see you guys very, very soon. I will see you next week. So I hope you guys are all doing a great job, and we will pick up practicing order of operations when I return. Have a great day. Bye.